Hello, we'll get started in just a few minutes. I have to do the back and forth. Oh wait, maybe it's actually working today. The last couple times on my end of the thing, it doesn't show any of the comments or any of the people viewing. I have to have like a separate tab to go see that, but it seems to be working tonight, which is great. So I'm actually gonna exit out of that other one, but we'll get started soon and it'll be fun. Probably just wait another minute. This project really is, it comes together so quickly. As long as you know the size that you need, it's great. And the size I chose, I just used my dog's current collar to measure the size. So if you have one already for your pet, it makes it super, super simple. All right, so I'm going to move over to the station. If there's anyone new watching tonight, I have two cameras that I use, one at my sewing machine and one over at where I do my pressing and the majority of my demonstration for projects. So if you send a comment or a question in the feed, I will check back and take a look at that when I come over to the sewing machine. But also Dawn is on here and she is great at answering questions as well. So without further ado, I'm going to move over to the other one and I'm going to actually minimize this camera for now. Actually, I'll just take it off because I can put it back on when I come over here to do some sewing. There we go. Okay. So tonight we are, as you can see from the description, we're going to create pet collars. What's really nice about this project is you can make any size. They sell several different sizes of the pieces to create the collar. You can make them for cats, dogs, big dogs, little dogs. It's great. If you don't have a pet and you're watching this, actually, I plan on using probably one of these two because I don't need two of them for my one dog as a keychain. So I will use it as a key fob and put my keys on it. And it's great because then I can hook it to inside of my my backpack or my purse. It holds it there without it falling out and getting lost. So that is a great option as well. For tonight, we'll need several things. You'll need an iron and fabric, which I'll go into those dimensions in just a moment. To make it so that it's an adjustable collar, like the ones that you usually get, there are 3 pieces. It is, I don't have the names for these, so if you know them, great, but the part that you can use to get it on and off, both sides. I know this is called a D-ring. It looks like the letter D. And then this piece right here. This is going to help it so that you can make it adjustable to the size of your pet. So you do need these pieces of hardware. Tonight, pins are kind of challenging, so I suggest using clips. They work a lot easier. We will be using HeatnBond Craft Extra Firm interfacing. It's non-woven, so you can use it on any direction of fabric you have. The small size like this is perfect because, at least for the size I'm making, because we only need about 18 and a half inches. for this, for the size that I'm creating, which my dog is like a small to medium dog. He's like a part Jack Russell Chihuahua. So right kind of in that small to medium range. Of course, you'll need longer pieces if you're making it for a larger dog. That really just varies. I do suggest that you either use a collar you already have to take measurements, because I really can't give measurements for different sizes since I'm only basing it off of my dog. But I can give you an idea for width-wise, at least for this size of hardware. So we'll need that. For the size that I'm doing tonight, I am using a nice piece of fabric, which I forgot to mention. What is so great about this project is you can use any fabric, cotton fabric you want. And you know that the possibilities and the designs out there are endless. Otherwise, most collars come in that cotton webbing or the polyester webbing, and there isn't really a lot of design out there. It's mostly single colors, maybe a small pattern here. I just pulled some out. This is just sort of a webbing that you can find. That is usually what collars are made of, but that's kind of boring. So we want something stylish and fun and pretty. So I chose this one. This one, of course, I love stripes. I did rainbow. Tonight we're going with warm tones, kind of floral, geometric shapes. So for the size I am creating, I am using a 1-inch. So this is considered a 1-inch piece of hardware. You can find them on Etsy. You can find them on Amazon. I got them in like a bulk pack and it came with all the pieces. So just kind of, I found that on a website. Actually, it was sold on Amazon, but then I got it through their website because I could get it quicker. They do sell in different sizes. So this is 1 inch. I've seen 5/8 inch. There is probably a 1/2 inch. Thinking 1/2 inch to 3/8 of an inch is probably closer to like if you want to make one for a cat or a really small dog. I would just take a look at your ruler to see, or even measure your current pet's collar. It'll give you exact amount. So for this 1 inch size, I am using a piece that is 19.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And I'm going to turn my iron on so I can press this. And then I'm using a piece of the Craft Extra Firm non-woven interfacing. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of got like a shine on one side and the other side's pretty matte. We're going to be using the shine side down here just a moment. And I made it slightly smaller. I tend to do that if you've been watching my videos. A lot of mine, I make them smaller. It creates a little bit less bulk. We do want it to be bulky. We want it to have a nice thickness to it. I mean, it is a collar. We want it to stand up to any and everything that our pets do. So first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to fuse this. As I showed you, we're going to want to put the shiny side to the wrong side of our fabric and just center it on there. And you'll notice it is slightly shorter, and that's because we will be folding these over to create a nice edge. So I'm going to give it a press on this side, and then I like to turn it over and press it from the other side as well. Give it a press on this side too. All right. Once you've got that adhered, we're going to fold it in half to create just a crease. We need it as a guideline. So we're going to gently fold this in half and give ourselves something to work with. And if you notice, it wants to pop up. It's going to do that throughout this entire process, and that's why it clips are really beneficial. So at this point, I am actually going to fold my edges in and give them a really good press. And those should stay down pretty well. If not, it's all right. We're going to use clips. I'm just going to turn it. Over here, I've got some plastic. I don't want to put my iron near there. And I'm left-handed, so everything on this side. All right. Once you've got those edges folded in, you're going to take each of your raw edges and fold them to your center crease that you created. So yeah, you see it's popping up. It's going to do that. You can clip it if you want. What we're essentially doing is creating creases to help us with the folds for the final fold before we sew it. This project, it comes together so quick. It's so easy. The hardest part really is just making sure you weave it correctly before sewing it. Which now that you're going to see it on video, you'll be able to go back and forth and rewind to see exactly how to do it. All right, so we've got this. I am going to just clip this side. We're going to turn it over. We're going to do the exact same thing. Fold this raw edge to the center. And you really want to pay close attention to those edges up here because those will be exposed. They're not getting sewn. They're getting sewn, but they're going to be kind of, I'll show you in just a minute what I mean by exposed. So they're going to be right here and right here. So they won't have a raw edge, but they aren't going in anything. If you like the pin cushion, I'm using a different one tonight. I usually use my donut, but since we're not using pins, we're using clips. I'm using my clip pin cushion. I do have a tutorial on my YouTube page on how to make it. It's very easy too. And super cute. It's like a pinwheel, and it's not all sewn in. It's sewn in, but it's not, and it's got these nice areas to hold your clips. All right, we've got our guide, and now simply all we're going to do is fold it in half along that guideline we already created. I'm going to pin. You can add, you can press it some more if you'd like. So I am not using steam because of the fusible adhesive. The instructions say not to use steam when adhering it, so I'm not using steam at all in this process. This is almost like we're creating like a keychain or key fob, just it's a little bit thicker than any other ones I've made because we want it to have this nice stability for our animals. All right, so I'm getting ready to go to the first sewing step. There are a total of 2 or 3, depends on how I want to do the second step. What I'm going to do over at the sewing machine, I'm simply going to go around the border, and then it's a personal preference, you don't have to do it, but I personally like the 4 lines. So I am going to go in and quickly do the second and third line, or third and fourth line in there. So there'll be one all the way around and then 2 more lines. That is an aesthetic thing. It's not, you can go without it if you'd like. I just really like it. So I'm going to go over to there. I'll take a look at the chat as well. And let's keep moving. I'm going to bring this one back so you can watch me sew a little bit. Turn, go towards my machine. I have craziness going on in the background. Don't worry about that. Okay. You may have noticed I did change feet on my sewing machine. That is just for my personal machine. Everybody's machines are different. I have a machine where I can stitch like really close. If you notice, really close to that border, and it has like a guideline. That's what I used first. But just a regular foot will work just as well. And then I switched it over to my regular foot and did a 1/4 inch seam allowance to get that second line. And now I'm just kind of trimming my scissors were over here. And there it is. We essentially have a nice handle. So you'll notice if you make this the way it feels, it's really sturdy. You could use this as a handle on a bag. That would work really, really well. You just sew it into your piece on a small bag. Nice little handle. It's got a real good grip to it, stability. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to attach all the pieces and weave it so that you don't need that anymore. That it fits, and you can make it so that it is adjustable. Make it real small, or make it the largest it will go, which for mine is about that big, so it's pretty big. So to do that, the first step, and I'm thinking I'm actually going to do it in 2 different steps at the sewing machine, looking at it to make it make sense. We're going to do this end. So we're going to use the open end of the closure, and we're going to use the D-ring. So if you look at it, all we're simply going to do is loop it through the D-ring, loop it through the piece right here, and then we're going to overlap it. Let me get my something to measure that with, and I'll kind of give you show you the size of that. So for this one, I'm overlapping because we don't want to waste too much of our strap on this, because this is simply holding this. This is for, if you want to take them on walks, to attach the leash. It can also attach any tags that are required for your animal. All right, so approximately, if it's folded over, it's approximately 1.5 inches. Let me do that over here. So that's my 1 inch mark, and that's a 1/2 inch, about 1.5 inches. So we're going to measure that. About 1.5 inches. We're going to put, let's see, looks like the D-ring was in first. I even still have to look. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. The D-ring on, and then we want it to be, so these have a natural curve to them, so it goes with their neck, and we want that natural curve to be on the underside, because we don't want this to be showing. We want that on the underside. So we're going to put it through there like that. All right, let's make sure this is 1.5 still. I kind of moved it. And what I'm going to go over there in the sewing machine and do, and you'll notice on here, I actually did it twice, and I was I kind of hit it. I did a really good job. With this one, there's little white lines, and the stitching I did actually on the white lines. Sorry, I'm not actually in camera. There we go. On the white lines. Now this one, you'll be able to see it, and it's approximately 1/2 inch apart. So I'm going to stitch forward and backward several times to really secure that. And I'm going to do it twice to really secure it, because we know our animal friends, they can pull. I don't know about your dog. My dog, he pulls when he is on a walk. There's no stopping him. So I'm going to go do that now at the machine. All right, so you can see it. You can see a little bit more on this one because I didn't hide it as easy. It wasn't as easy to hide. The other one made it so easy with the white lines. So I'm just going to trim off all these. I don't know what it is. My machine, I just have never been able to. There's always these little, they get stuck. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I just trim them. Okay, step 1 of assembling the collar is complete. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do this twice, and I gotta look at it myself. Okay, so this is, we're gonna put it like this, and we need to, if you'll notice, this piece goes, there's 2 pieces on this adjuster. At first, of course, it's got that round, so you want to make sure that that is on top, and the flat part is on the bottom. You're going to, I'm going to lose it first, and I'm going to throw it out of the picture. Found it. Hold on to it, don't let it go. I'm going to make sure that the bottom, and I'm going to thread it up and through. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Second, I'm going to thread the other side of the buckle, and it's going to go down from the top. Well, it's going to come, it's going to come up through that first hole, over the bar in the middle, and then down the other side. So it's going to come, making sure it's flat, up through this first opening, over that bar, and down. Just like that. All right. I'm going to move it so we give ourselves lots of space so we can easily sew it. We can always move it back. Now we're going to take the bottom piece and we're going to come back through this way. You don't want to go this way. You won't be able to adjust it. You're going to come back up through the adjuster. You might actually need to just kind of pull that up and back down the other side. And we're going to keep that loop real big because we're going to need to get this into the sewing machine. You'll notice I have a bit of space. It's about 1.5 inches there because that's just what I need for my machine to get it in there. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, all we need to do now is stitch many, many times right there. You can do just one line. You can do 2 lines if you can do that. I think I did 1 because that's really all I could get my machine in there for. But I did many passes back and forth, and you can really see that there. So I'm going to go back over to the machine and do that. And if you need to see this again when this video is over, just hit the rewind or the back button and you can watch it over and over again. All right, I'm going to go over and sew that. Okay, trim. And my friends, that is it. That is how you make an adjustable pet collar. Or a bracelet. Make it small enough. So I'm gonna keep the line open for a little bit, and then this video will be available on the Facebook page. I'm not sure how long they last on the feed. I think you can find them on the page, but it's probably easiest just to go to our YouTube, the ThermOWeb's YouTube channel. That will be uploaded by tomorrow. I'll probably do it later tonight before turning in, but I'm really excited about these. As you can see, it came together so quick. The only thing you didn't see me do was cut the fabric. That's it. So, and that didn't take long at all. So I really appreciate you watching tonight. And yeah, I think we're going to draw for a online gift card. So make sure you put a comment in the chat so that we can do that. So there is not a specific blog post for this. All the instructions are here on the video. So if you need to see how it's done, the best thing is to watch the video again. But there is no like step-by-step blog post for this. But you'll be able to find this video on the blog post. I will attach it to that on ThermOWeb's website. And in case anybody, I saw we were talking about names. In case anybody wants to know, my dog, his name is Zizo. It's not a typical name. I came up with it after listening to some scat music. So I will keep this open for just another minute or so. If there's any other questions or comments. But congratulations to Megan, and I will see you on the next live next month.